The odds of you being born is 1 in 400 trillion. That is 1 in 400,000,000,000,000,000. That's a lot of zeros because you don't know what multiplication is. So how do you expect yourself to answer it correctly if you've never learned multiplication? Like, you wouldn't look at your best friend and say like, "You're ugly." So why would you say that to yourself? Logic. When you're trying to start loving yourself, you already love yourself. If there's one thing that's got to be going good in my life, it's the fact that I love myself, or I'm trying to learn to love myself. Hey guys, it's been a while. My name is Hannah Dara. If you guys don't know me, welcome to my channel. Also, I cut my bangs. Guys, what do you guys think? I can't tell if I look better with bangs, if I look better without my bangs. Anyways, I have been sick as a bird. Is that an expression? I have been absolutely sick the past week or so. I had like the flu. Your girl was rotting in bed, coughing, dying, just all the works. I feel like you can still kind of hear it in my voice a little bit. I'm like a little bit congested. This is my third time recording this video because the first time I recorded it, I didn't like how it came out. And then the second time I felt like I was too like, oh my god, you have to love yourself. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just talk about it like how I would to myself. Like, let me just talk to myself as I would in the mirror, or like how I would to my friend. We are gonna dive into the topic of self-love. And the reason I am talking about self-love, I also have my journal here because I took some notes. The reason I'm talking about self-love is because if you guys don't know, I have hit my quarter life crisis. I did not know what a quarter life crisis really composed, what it was I didn't know what a quarter life crisis consisted of really. Now that I've gone through it, I feel like, and I am going through it still now, but I think like now that I am in it, I think I can kind of understand what it is. And it's really teaching me that self-love is so important during this very humbling experience. If you guys didn't see my last video, it was just me talking about how I don't feel very accomplished, I don't feel very successful, I don't feel like I just have anything going on in my life. Right now I've graduated university and it is so freaking hard to find a job in tech because that is where my major is. With it being hard to find a job, it just makes me feel like I am not as capable in my field as some other people might be. You just start kind of questioning yourself and like, where is my life really going? And also because I've been sick, I've been really going through it like mentally, physically. I think like the concept of self-love is something I've really started to force myself to adopt, because if there's one thing that's got to be going good in my life, it's the fact that I love myself, or I'm trying to learn to love myself. So before we teach you guys how to start loving yourself, we gotta really get into the topic of self-love, because I used to think like, yeah, I love myself, like I think I'm like relatively attractive looking. I look in the mirror and I'm like, I'm content with what I see. Like, yeah, I work for it, and yeah, like I have to put on a lot of makeup to make myself feel good and look good. I still look in the mirror after like I've done all my, I'm like content with it. But I was like, is that really self-love? Like, do I really love myself like inside? Underneath all my different layers, do I really like that core person, that person that's at the core of like everything? For example, think of like a parent with like their kid. Like a mom has a kid and they're gonna love that kid unconditionally. They love that kid when they're like a screaming little toddler and they're throwing toddler tantrums. They're gonna still love that kid. They're gonna love that kid when they're going through puberty and being like rebellious, but they're still gonna love their kid because that is their creation, that is their DNA. Like, that is what it means to love something unconditionally. And I think it's like, you need to love yourself the same way like a parent would love their kid. Like, even if you're being a spoiled screaming child, it's like loving them in every single like state, shape, way, form that you are. I have a bit of a unhealthy relationship with food. I have a habit of binge eating when I feel really sad. So after I binge eat, like I will look in the mirror and just be like, well, I hate myself. Like, why did I just do that? The thing is like, I can't help that. That's just a coping mechanism I developed when I was a kid. If I look in the mirror and I say I hate myself after I've done that, then I can't really say that I love myself fully. So it's being able to love yourself in the good parts and the bad. So self-love is really any action that supports your growth. So this can be your physical growth, your mental growth, your spiritual growth, any way, shape, or form. And let me tell you guys something. This is something I saw on TikTok, but when you're trying to start loving yourself, you already love yourself. I was like, at first I heard that and I was like, what the heck? Like, okay, sure. Like, I'm trying to learn, but like that doesn't mean I love myself yet. No, it actually is like, you trying to learn to love yourself shows that you care about yourself enough that you want to learn how to take care of yourself better. You want to learn how to love yourself, which I think is kind of sweet. It's very like, it feels like a hug. Like, that message feels like a hug to me, because it's like reassuring to know that like, oh my god, I actually do love myself in some capacity. Like, I don't actually fully hate myself. It makes me feel reassured, like, oh, I actually do have love for myself. So now we're gonna dive into how to actually start loving yourself. First of all, we're our biggest critics. The only person that we criticize the most is ourselves, and sometimes you just have to be forgiving to yourself. You have to be understanding. Like, you wouldn't look at your best friend and say like, you're ugly. So why would you say that to yourself?
logic.
Being critical of yourself, it doesn't help anyone. Who does it help? It's not helping people around you, and it sure as hell isn't helping yourself. You're just tearing down yourself. Like, why would you do that when the whole point is to make yourself feel better and build yourself up stronger? If you see a little kid drop a plate, you're not gonna be like, kid, you're so stupid, why would you drop your plate?
Now there's glass shards everywhere, and now I have to clean it up. Like, you're so dumb, like, why would you do that?
You're not gonna yell at a kid. They didn't know any better. In the same way you didn't know any better, don't be yelling at yourself either. You would say like, oh, you know what, it's okay, mistakes happen. You know, be sympathetic, be kind to yourself. Why are you being hard on yourself? It literally helps no one. It doesn't even help yourself. Like, why are you doing that? Stop doing that. Number 2, this is kind of correlated to the first part, but allow yourself to make mistakes. You are literally human. Like, do we expect you to be perfect? No. Like, God created you to be literally imperfect. You are designed to be imperfect. In a good way though. This is a good thing. We learn from our mistakes. Mistakes are there as a learning experience. Think about every life lesson you've learned. You didn't learn it because you went through a good positive experience. You learned it because you made a mistake or you went through some sort of hardship. Everything you learn from mistakes. You learn from hardship. Going through hardship is what shapes who you are. Do we get hurt along the way? Yeah, but it makes us who we are. All the hardship is going to positively shape you for the better. This is going to be a dumb analogy, but like, hear me out. When you're learning how to multiply, when do you learn that? In 3rd grade? If all you've known is addition and someone tells you,
what is 3 times 2?
You're gonna say
5.
because everything you know in math is just addition. You're gonna naturally do 3 plus 2 because you don't know what multiplication is. So how do you expect yourself to answer it correctly if you've never learned multiplication? You can't expect yourself to know how to do something if you've never experienced it before, so don't be hard on yourself for not knowing how to do it. And you say 5, they're gonna tell you, no, that's wrong. Okay.
Oops, I was wrong.
How do I do it? Now you learn multiplication and now you know how to do it. You making that mistake of thinking that it was 5 taught you how to do it correctly. You need to make a mistake to learn. Take your mistakes as like gifts. They're actually like what's the word? The blessing in disguise. Mistakes, hardship, they're all blessings in disguise because they teach you lessons, they shape you into who you are for the better. Number 3 is forgive yourself. Again, you're human, you're designed to be imperfect. We make mistakes. Through those mistakes, you have to learn to forgive yourself. Who else is going to forgive you if not you? When someone hurts you, it's obviously really hard to forgive them, but you have to forgive them. Not because you actually forgive them, but you have to forgive them for yourself. Forgive them for yourself so you don't hold on to that grudge and you don't hold on to the hatred. They're not gonna care that they hurt you. They're gonna move on with their life and do their own thing. And if you just sit and rot in your room and hold on to that grudge, like the only person hurting is you. So learning to forgive yourself for making mistakes, but also learn to forgive other people for the sake of your own well-being. Number 5 is accept yourself. You are literally 1 in 400 trillion.
Wait, what?
The odds of you being born is 1 in 400 trillion. That is 1 in 400,000,000,000,000,000,000. That's a lot of zeros. You are intended to be here. And that possibility of you being here is so microscopic, minuscule, so unlikely, but you are still intended to be here. You're here, you exist. You are meant to be created, intended to be created the way that you are. You can spend all of this time and money trying to look like someone else or be like someone else, but like, what's the point in that? They're a rare commodity, 1 in 400 trillion, they are rare, but just as rare as they are, so are you. And if you're gonna spend the miracle of your existence, if you're gonna waste this miracle of who you are and the rarity that you are and trying to make that into someone else, then you're not rare. You're just a copy of this other person. What's the point in that? Like, why would you want to waste the blessing of being born and existing in this world in that such small possibility and wasting it not being yourself? Also, like, we're all such beautiful creatures. Like, I know the whole phrase of like, you're beautiful in your own way sounds so corny, but like, it's so true. Have you ever looked at a friend and you're just like, this person is so beautiful. They're so beautiful for everything they are, for like the way they look, for their personality, for their grace, their kindness. Everything about them is so beautiful. They're so beautiful in their own way, because another person I can see is so beautiful, but not in the same ways. They're different, but they're beautiful in different ways. They're literally beautiful in their own ways. It's so corny, but it's like so true. You're beautiful in your own way. You just don't see it.
Which is why you think you're ugly.
But learn to see it. Learn to accept yourself and learn to see in what ways you are beautiful. The only person that's going to be as consistent in your life is you. Like, genuinely, think about it. Friends come and go. You may not see your parents all the time as you grow older and you grow more independent. Like, I don't call my parents as often as I probably should. But the only person that sits in my room when I'm crying is me. Like, when I'm sad and I'm crying in my room, the only person there is me. So you need to learn to accept yourself and love yourself, because the only person that's so consistently in your life is you. You have one body, you have one heart, you have one life. Accept it, be present in it, learn it, live it, love it. I feel like I said a lot of words just now and I don't know if any of them made sense, but I'm really hoping that I like piece them all together. You need to love yourself and accept yourself so far to the extent that other insecure people look at you and think,
I want to look like her.
Next part into learning how to love yourself is learn to heal your traumas. This is kind of like a hard thing to do because like you need to unlearn everything, go through all like the different layers of yourself. But do you want to live in a world with no anxiety, no insecurity? Like that kind of world can exist, but you have to work on yourself. It's all your mind. It's all your mindset. Right now I'm unemployed and my first thought was like,
Oh my god, I'm unemployed. Like I don't have any income. Like I'm just rotting in my bed. Blah blah. Like oh, this
sucks. Like it actually sucks. But the other way I also see it, and this makes it feel a lot better, is
I have so much freedom right now. I'm unemployed. It's not great, but like when in my life, in my early 20s, am I gonna be able to have this much freedom and do whatever I want?
like I'm actually enjoying my unemployment right now because it's given me an opportunity to look at myself deeper and kind of just like really do a lot of internal work that I feel like I've been neglecting for a long time. I bought books like 4 years ago that I never read, and I wanted to read self-help books 4 years ago and I never got around to it, and now I have so much spare time that I can't not do it. God has given me this opportunity of being unemployed as like a learning opportunity. I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe it's a learning opportunity because all of my friends either are working or they're still students and they're busy. I reach out to them and they're like, oh hey, I'm sorry, like I'm actually busy, I can't hang out, which is like, it's a sign. Like everyone around me, everyone I'm trying to reach out to is busy. Like I'm forced to be by myself. I'm forced to learn about myself and take care of myself better. It's really been like a great opportunity in my opinion. So it's all in your mind. It's your mindset. Take your shitty situation and try to see it in a good light, and you find purpose in life, you find meaning in life just by changing your mindset. Okay, what I'm trying to get into is healing your trauma. Everyone has some sort of trauma in some way, shape, or form. It may be more significant than other people's traumas, it may not be as significant, but it's still your trauma because your life is your own subjective experience. Things that were your hardships. I think working on healing your inner child is so important, but like we really neglect that, maybe because we don't have a lot of time to do it or we just like don't think about it. Even if you don't realize it and see it in your day-to-day life, there is inner child trauma that you're not addressing or you're not taking care of. One way to go about it is therapy, but bruv, I literally signed myself up for therapy and then they told me how much it cost and I was like, like I'm unemployed, I can't afford therapy. So what other better way can you go therapize yourself? Journaling. You've probably heard this before, people preach about it, but journaling actually is genuinely so insane in terms of how much it can actually make you understand yourself. It really allows yourself to process all your emotions. You gain clarity on yourself. You gain some understanding on yourself. There are a couple journals. There's a couple journals you can get out there, literally just like one that's like blank that you would write in yourself, or you can get a guided journal, which is like one that gives you questions and prompts and you just answer them. Personally, I like both. If you know me in real life, you know how much I like journals. Physically writing your thoughts down really slows down your thinking because your hand has to keep up with your thoughts, but your hand can't. You physically cannot write that fast. So your brain has to slow down to allow your hand to keep up. It really slows down your thinking and it allows you to think really deep on some issues that you've maybe not been addressing. One thing I really like to do when I journal is I'll ask myself like an annoying little toddler, why? When you tell like a kid like, oh, go put away your dishes. Why? We need to keep the counter clean. Why? Because a keep counter makes the space feel clean. Why? Because the space feels clean when there's less clutter. Why? Just ask yourself why? If you guys don't know how to journal or how to start journaling, I'll give you a prompt. This is one that I used recently is, when was the last time you got really angry and what about it upset you? When I was going through my depressive episode a couple weeks ago, I got into a fight with a friend and I may have said something a little bit hurtful that was coming from me hurting, and we had like this whole talk about it. But what had happened was I got angry at my friend because they weren't free. That made me very upset. Why? Because I hate being lonely. Why? Because I have an issue with loneliness. Why? Maybe because like I felt really abandoned as a kid or something like that. Just keep asking yourself why and like go through all those layers and really understand like what are the core root and issues of your problems and your feelings and your emotions, and that really uncovers a lot of things. It uncovers so much and you'll just get to know yourself better, and then you'll also feel more reassurance and confidence in yourself because you know yourself better. You know your triggers, you know your habits, you know your emotions so much better. Not only does it help you feel more confident and love yourself better, but it'll help you connect with other people better and just empathize with people more. Honestly, like I'm still in my self-love journey. It's a long ongoing process, but it's also a rewarding process. Honestly, I feel like even just 10 minutes of journaling, I feel so much better about myself. Obviously there's going to be hardships, but all the skills that you learn from your self-love journey are going to be applicable moving forward. At the end of the day, all I ask is that just be forgiving to yourself, be kind to yourself, and I wish you all the best of luck on your self-love journey. We are on this together. I'm also learning to love myself a little bit more. In my efforts to love myself a little bit more, I did do my makeup a little bit differently. I decided to do a little bit of glitter, which I normally don't do, but I love this glittery look. Like I feel like a K-pop idol. Wait. That's the wrong song. Touch, touch, touch. Anyways, yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. Hopefully this video wasn't too bad. I feel like I was on like a different energy today than I usually am. I try to be very like, hey guys, let's talk about self-love. But honestly, I don't really care to be like all like soft anymore because this is genuinely the kind of person I am. Like, I am a yapper. I love to talk. And this is a topic I am very passionate about, so yeah, if you guys want to see more videos about this, please let me know. Leave me a comment in the comments down below. Sorry about this video being a little bit late. I've been a little bit sick, but because your girl's still unemployed, maybe I'll have more time to make some more videos. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I love you all. Bye-bye.
I see. 한여름에 저 넌 겨울. Yeah, let it go.